For as long as the human race has existed and for as long as humans have insisted on reproducing, in most societies a popular fallacy that's had its head popped up for just way too long is the parents are God's ideology. Right at the beginning of this video, I'ma point out the obvious. This is some bullshit shoved to the side of rabbit droppings. Now before I continue with my speaking points, I'm gonna be touching on some very sensitive topics, so if you know you can get very emotional, I advise you to click off this video. Oh, you're not leaving? Man, you must be tough as fuck then. You have balls of steel, Superman's got nothing on you. For those of you who are new around these parts of YouTube, I live in a country in Africa called Zambia. And my god is it backwards. It's the main reason why we've been a developing country for the last 60 or so years, I'm not gonna lie. What's even more mind-blowingly strange is that at one point in history, my people were colonized, and at another point we got our independence, but it's like a huge chunk of Zambians collectively decided that the way the colonizers treated us is how they're gonna treat their kids, but 100 times worse. And then their kids pass on the same trauma to their kids, and then the cycle continues all the way until it reaches me and Gen Z. This has honestly never made sense to me. How is the first thing you're thinking of when you know you have unresolved childhood trauma having kids, and then making the innocent kids endure the same trauma you went through? In what world does any of this make sense? It's really got me wondering if older generations skipped a stage of development, because honestly, we have to take a step back and really think about the people we've been letting run our country. Since I was a kid, I've never been a fan of getting my ass whooped. Neither have I ever been a fan of watching my brother get his ass whooped by our parents, because not only is it clearly abuse, but it also tells me that you don't have the brain cells to think of a method of punishment that doesn't infringe another human's rights. It's made more atrocious when you realize that parents who choose to hit their kids would never hit their colleagues, their co-workers, or even their friends if they ever had a disagreement with them or if they were wronged. It just didn't make sense to me how you're able to have a civilized conversation over differences with people you are in no way related to, but with your literal seed, you're willing to go ballistic like a fucking caveman going bonkers over losing his stick. If you know parenting is hard, then don't have kids. Niggas look to the belt as the easiest way to enforce obedience, fully knowing how terribly this affects children. And it disappoints me knowing that most people raised like this will go on and raise their kids the exact same way, because this parenting style conditions the abused to expect obedience from somebody once they've been hit. As your therapist, if you're doing this to your kid, I just have to give you the full diagnosis, man. You have a serious case of being a piece of shit and severe dumbassery. It's GG's. To quote the wise words of Drake on You Broke My Heart, they dropped you on your head when you was one of some. Another thing I hate about toxic parenting is how respect is always supposed to be one-sided. As the child in the dynamic, you can be called the worst things in the book, even going as far as being viewed as subhuman, and you're expected to not show any signs of irritation. But the moment you try to defend yourself, you're called out for talking back and being disrespectful. Nigga, I ain't a punching bag that sits there and takes all the punches without flinching. I'm a human being with emotions. I'm not a no Patrick Bateman shit, my nigga. What annoys me the most is that this type of behavior is always justified with the phrase, "They're still your parents." I've heard that phrase so many times I see it in my bowl of cereal every morning, bro. Just because you gave birth to someone doesn't mean you now have the right to inflict all kinds of verbal abuse on them. I low-key think that all the verbal abuse I've endured from my parents is what kind of led me to being introverted. I don't know if toxic parents ever realize that all the name-calling and mockery has negative effects on their child's self-esteem. I mean, I'm 20 fucking years old and I'm still going through this shit, man. I'm trying to get out of the trenches here, but day by day, it proves to be more and more difficult. And you know you're cooked when both your parents have made a tag team and they're taking turns frying your ass, like a couple of 13-year-old wannabe edgelords in a YouTube comment section. But at the same time, you're not so cooked because you realize that these are two grown-ass people pushing 50 with gray hair on their heads portraying unemployed Reddit mod behavior, only in real life, which is the cringiest sight to behold, to be honest. I swear, the day you realize this is the day you also realize that the adults in your life are dumber than a bag of rocks. You know, it's hilarious, but also at the same time kinda sad that one of the most painful parts of growing up with narcissistic parents is experiencing just how controlling they can be. Like, honestly, tell me why, as a 20-year-old man, another grown ass man who is reaching his 50s is on my meat about the hairstyle I choose. Bro, as a black man, I've always wanted to grow an afro since the day I found out what an afro is. But niggas can't let another nigga have his glow up. I'm stuck looking chopped with the same buzz cut I've been getting since I was 5. Do you really want me to go on living without getting any of the college baddies, my dude? Unfortunately, that's not even the worst the controlling can get. I'm not allowed to wear a beanie because apparently I would end up looking like a junkie and I would tarnish my family name, which personally I am not even proud of. First of all, are we dead ass? Second of all, who do you think you are that people are gonna go around asking your son who his parents are? Third of all, I look like a regular ass dude in my beanie. Does this look like the face of someone constantly doing drugs? And lastly, are we dead ass? So not only am I supposed to get the lawn on my head mowed all the way down, but I can't even hide that fact? There's just no winning with these people, my nigga. If there's one thing I hate more than being controlled to the point that I can't even have my own taste in music, it's gaslighting, man. Gaslighting is the toxic parent's superpower, and I won't lie, they are good at using that shit. They'll do everything I've mentioned and more. Literally stop you from being your authentic self and stop you from expressing your own opinions. But say, we're still your parents and we're doing this because we love you.
Love? Shit.
And it's way worse in my case because I'm not only gaslit by my parents. No, I'm also gaslit by some of my friends and practically every person I've met and shared some of my struggles with. I'm constantly in a mental struggle where I'm wondering if I'm wrong or I'm right. And to put it simply, it's annoying. Living this shit is like trying to win a game of chess, man. Life shouldn't be this hard. I feel like being raised by toxic parents who can and will be abusive both verbally and physically to get their way is what made me adopt an antinatalist view of the world. I won't lie, life sucks. Things get expensive every day, my country's economy is terrible, and so I just can't fathom bringing a child into this world to suffer along with me, and when they don't want to work or do anything, I just tell them to suck it up and keep going when it was my own actions that led to them living a life in which suffering is guaranteed. My conscience would keep me up at night if I did this. Additionally, I truly fear turning out like my parents if I ever had kids, and I've made it my mission to never become them. And let's face it, man, raising kids is a lot of work. My ass will never be ready to have a whole ass kid and raise them till they're an adult. I'm just not built for this shit, twin. One of the most painful realizations you come to when you're raised in a toxic environment is that no one is coming to save you. It's just you and only you. But this realization is beautiful because it's also sort of empowering. While yeah, the only person you can depend on to get you out of that situation is you, it also means you are in control. You dictate what your life will look like, so to be frank, if you want to go no contact with your parents and live in peace, you can do that, and no one is gonna stop you. Personally, I can't wait for that day because once I leave, nigga, these bitches aren't getting anything from me, period. But before that, I gotta make this YouTube dream work. Right now, I'll survive by behaving like a fucking rock and leaning on my cousin as a support system. Because to be honest, she's going through the same shit and she's been there for me, so shout out to my cousin. But yeah, those are my thoughts. And until I get out of this hellhole I call home, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Support me on Patreon by subscribing to this tier on screen where you gain access to my video scripts, you gain knowledge of the next commentary video, you gain access to unreleased thumbnails, you get a bonus mobile wallpaper every month made by me, and your name gets displayed during the credits. If you ask me, those are some pretty amazing perks. I just hope they're enticing enough. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like my content and would like to see more of my videos. And yeah, I think that's about it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!